Welcome back. We still have with us in the studio Senator Magnus Abe, who was a former senator, who is a former member of the Senate and also a candidate in the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. I think that at this point, my colleagues in Lagos would like to bring in some of their questions.
Senator Abe put a smile on his face. Perhaps maybe that's it shows what it's to come. The question here is that politicians, since all the leaders are saying that they are on the same page and they all want peace, this is not the first time we have heard or seen politicians say that they are for peace. Tell us about your supporters. Are they on the same page with you? Because we just spoke with the resident electoral commissioner, and he did say some of these people who were troublemakers on those two occasions are now brought before the law. Your supporters, what is the feeling in your camp? Are they set for a peaceful election?
I think we have always been set and prepared and ready for elections. The problem we have with some of these meetings and peace parleys and communiques that we sign and the agreements that we sign is that there has been no consequence for the breach of these agreements. When we finish signing the agreements that we sign, and then we go into the elections, and then you see the same thing that everybody has agreed will not happen. It happens and nothing happens. So part of what we agreed at the meeting with the Inspector General of Police and the Director of State Services is that this time anybody who goes against what has been agreed and what has been decided, and the fact that violence is not to be allowed or permitted in the elections, will be punished, no matter how highly placed the person may be. I think that that is the element that has been lacking in all the other agreements that we have reached. And it was for that reason that our own party refused to sign the last agreement before these current elections. Because we looked at all the other agreements we had signed and all the things that happened after the signing of those agreements. And we were not convinced that those agreements were anything other than a ceremony. And like I said, INEC really doesn't have the capacity and the ability to be able to actually bring people to book. They don't have it. It is the responsibility of the Nigerian security services to hold people accountable for their actions under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I want to use this opportunity to commend the Inspector General of Police, to commend the Director General of State Services for the action that they took yesterday and for the personal commitment that they have given to this process. At least we now know that anybody who goes against what has been agreed will have him or herself to blame. So it is for us to now communicate this new atmosphere to our supporters, for them to know that what was tolerable yesterday and what they could get away with yesterday and what we could protect them from yesterday, that today we no longer have that power to protect them. And anybody, no matter how highly placed, who goes against the grain of this will be dealt with. I think if this understanding is in place, people will be able to come out, line up freely, cast their ballots, and these things will be counted. It is not rocket science.
Well, you're talking about commendation. For some people, they will say that, the accusation has always been that the security agencies were never under the control of the state government, and they've always been under control of the federal, and that the way things stand, your party is in control at the federal level, and they believe that there will be some allegiance of some sort by the security agencies to your party. How do you assure the other side that really the security agencies are going to be free and fair in this particular instance?
Thank you very much, Malpa. That is a problem that we are suffering from in Rivers State. People just assume that because we're members of the APC and because the federal government is APC, there must be some advantage that we're getting in the process. The truth of the matter that in every sense, we are the disadvantaged party. If you look at the number of people that have been killed, 90% or more of them are members of the APC. We have been shouting. My own office was bombed, burnt. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody is being investigated. Nobody has been prosecuted for these murders, for this arson, for all the crimes that have been committed against people in Rivers State. And they are members of the APC. So it is not true that we're getting any advantage by being members of the APC. We are not. Look at INEC, for example. In the last elections in Port Harcourt local government area, INEC's own guidelines say clearly that where the number of people that have not voted is more than the margin of win between the loser and the winner, that election is inconclusive and it should be repeated. INEC went ahead and declared all such seats for the PDP. We have been screaming, nobody is saying anything. There is total silence everywhere. Look at the case of Tai. INEC's own regulations, which they enforced in other local government areas of the state when it suited the PDP. They said that where an election has been returned, INEC cannot do anything about it. Anybody who is dissatisfied should go to court. In Tai, the election was returned. I got over 30,000 votes. They went ahead and cancelled it and did not advise PDP to go to court. All these are things that we are suffering as members of the APC, and nobody is saying anything about it. In the case of Obiakpo, elections were held on the 19th. The declaration was made by the REC on the 29th, but a certificate was backdated to the 19th. Now, when we now went to court to challenge that election, PDP produced a certificate dated the 19th. In other words, we were already out of time in filing our application, and the court threw out our case. That is a clear case of the commission dashing one federal House of Representatives seat to the PDP. So there are and they are the ones, when they finish, it's like when somebody is holding you, beating you, and then you'll be shouting, hey, see what is going on here. That is what is going on.
Chamberlain.
Well, I was going to ask about security, but now that you're raising all of these issues, was this talked about in that meeting that held yesterday, and have they let bygones be bygones now?
Yes, we've agreed to work together, and we are working together. But I just felt it was important that I make the point, because the public perception seems to be that as members of the APC, there is any advantage that we're getting, either from the security agencies or from the Independent National Electoral Commission, when actually the opposite is the case.